Wah, 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 wah. That's the whammy bar that I imagine plays every day
Just
for
when you
those.
show up.
Every time I show up, it's like a whammy bar announces my which from what I understand is like the tackiest thing you can have on a guitar, just like announces my entrance. It's like wah, 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 wah. But yeah, this is the daily grind. If that weird thing at the top didn't give it away that it was Luke, this is Luke with the daily grind, and I've got my buddy Daniel's back with me again this week. How are you, friend?
I'm good, man. Good. Excited. We're getting back to the season. Getting back to the last games. Starting tonight with LA. It's gonna be exciting.
Man, I got on here the other day by myself and just went through the entire month of. I was like, all right, let's go through February, go through March, go through April, and I was just sad. Just like predicting games, and I was like, damn, I don't even feel comfortable being a homer. Like it doesn't look good. Like,
Listen, the whole season hasn't looked good. Let's find the obvious excitement. We just got the downside of finding out that Smart and Bain were going to be reevaluated. We know how that goes, but I will say the excitement of these young guys, but then potentially getting back Bain and Smart to aim, possibly Clark. We haven't heard about him to end the season on a high note of maybe it's like the teaser at the very end of the show, and then like it already has a teaser trailer for next season. You're like, all right, I'm good.
They did that. I was watching the Marvel movies. They do that at some of the Marvel movies, and it's like, cool. Okay. You already filmed next movie. I'm good. I'm tuning in. I'm gonna tune in. Yep. We'll get into them. We'll get into the coming back in a minute because I like that. Let's preview tonight's game really fast, and I mean really fast because it's gonna be probably not a fun. You got to talk about it later, unless you're bailing on Nate. But like tonight's not gonna be fun. I don't think.
You know, I think that the Clippers, they're now coming off of a back-to-back, right, with travel because the Grizzlies are at home tonight. They just played Golden State last night. No, Thunder last night.
Thunder.
And so they play the Thunder on the road out in OKC, traveling to Memphis. I'm not saying that benefits us. It obviously benefits us, but we're not very good either. So it doesn't really benefit us there. But I will say that getting a team on a back-to-back, you're coming off fresh legs, a bunch of young guys. I know they were on vacation, but they also have to see the opportunity that is in front of them. And so I would be surprised if we don't get a good effort from our guys, especially early on. And then as the game goes, you might see those vets turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's granted, it's kind of the same thing that happened in the Bucks game, where like it was a game and then the gap started closing in the fourth, but we still held them off. I mean, I looked at everybody and I like that I was watching the game with. I was like, you watch, this is how you tank the right way. And it's nobody's fault. It's just the young guys can't keep up. That's just how it is. You play the young guys and and then they can't close it out. But we did against the Bucks. If they can do it tonight, that'd be what if they win tonight? Like, what if that's the TNT game? Like, that's pretty impressive if they were able to.
That'd be 3 in a row.
Yeah. Against quality opponents too.
Yeah, I would be surprised with this team just for the simple fact that the teams I think we would struggle with right now is more the athletic team. And that's what you're going to see with Kawhi and Paul George. Also, James Harden is still there. And then you have Russell Westbrook, who's always killed us because he is a slasher, but somehow he knocks down 3-pointers, and he didn't. He did the opposite last night. I think you're going to see a better effort out of them because them dropping 2 games out of the All-Star break is a bigger deal compared to us getting a win. Like us getting a win, it is what it is. Like we'd be shocked as well. But what shocks me the most is that the line is only 9.5.
I saw that. Yeah.
That worries me because it just gives them a little bit more. And I know they probably don't look at that, but it just shows me like Vegas thinks the same thing. They could come out a little sluggish back-to-back. The Grizzlies have played decent. There is zero chance that game should be a 10-point game. It should be a 20-point win from them. But for whatever reason, Vegas is thinking the same thing I am.
I mean, are they doing it because people saw us on TNT? You think like people the last time that people? I'm with you though. That line doesn't make sense. They had it at the ticker at the bottom of ESPN this morning. I was very confused.
Yeah, well, Vegas is numbers, man. They don't care about TNT or games like that. They see money? Like, how can we get you to buy? So the gambling stuff, I'll give you a quick 30-second on it. So what Vegas does, how they build their big buildings, is they give you a number, whatever that number is, they want you to buy on both sides of it. All right. So I'm gonna give you this 10 number. We want 50% people buying on this side, 50% buying on this side. That way, because the odds are usually minus 110 to win a bet, usually, they want you to buy on both sides because no matter what, they win. If people hammer the over, right, 10 plus points to win, then they're screwed because they're like, oh, we set the line too low. They have to jack the line up to get people to buy on the bottom. That way they can somehow get in the middle. So that's how Vegas makes their money. That's why when you see those lines. So there's a reason that it's stayed at 9.5 now.
What I mean, while we're on this, what bet do you like tonight?
There's not really anything I'm betting on right now at the Grizzlies. They're too inconsistent. I did see the Vince Williams. It opened up at over under 11.5 points.
Oh,
and so I hit his over on this points because he has been averaging a good 12 plus.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. It now has moved up to 12.5. So you have to get 13 points for him to cover that, which is still a fine number.
I mean, but the offense has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. And the only thing I worry about is these blowout wins. And so I stayed away from that. I did go with Terrence Mann to hit 1 3-pointer because he has always hit a 3-pointer against us because we leave him wide open. It was way high odds. And so I literally just parlayed it with the Clippers to win. And it was even money. For him to make a 3-pointer and the Clippers to win, it's even money. So listen, if he misses the 3-pointer, it is what it is. But if he makes the 3-pointer and the Clippers don't win, I'm completely okay with that.
You are fine.
I'm losing money because of that.
Well, okay. So real quick, like tonight's game, we haven't done this in a while. Who would you pick for a stats monster tonight? If you're going to pick one guy to go off, like who's your guy? Yeah. Either who's going to go off and be a monster with stats, or who's going to come out looking with his arms and his hair like the stats monster.
I think the easiest one is Gigi for the simple fact that you have Vince is going to have he's going to have a tough night. And he had a tough night last time they played just because he's having to guard, either Kawhi or potentially, Paul George. I wouldn't assume he guards against James Harden because he's more of the guy with the ball in his hands. You want somebody a little bit more size on Kawhi, maybe even PG, but I would think it's Kawhi as this matchup. I just think that's a big matchup for him defensively. And because of that, you're using a lot of your energy. And that's why I don't love, and that's why the number is low on his points. But for the other side of it, I think Gigi is because he has the athleticism. He has the shooting ability. He can stretch the floor. But the biggest thing, the only reason that is not on the stats, has nothing to do with stats, but I think has the most thing to do with the stats, is I don't think he's ever played against Paul George or Kawhi or James Harden. And you know how this guy is. He geeks out. The reason we have the TNT games, he geeks out against these superstars he plays against, and he raises up his level. I think, again, he raises up his level again and kind of goes off and kind of feels himself like a TNT GG.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to say Nardo.
Okay.
I always think that I don't think we've had a true Nardo revenge game, but one of these days he's going to go off for 30 against the Clippers. One of these days he has to. It just hasn't happened yet. He has to. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will hit what we were talking earlier. They released an update about Dez yesterday. We're going to hit that and just hit the return of these other guys, what that might look like right after this.
Not just the level of individual talent that he plays with, but it's also the level of his mind. We haven't gotten cross-court open shot this year. Right. We haven't seen that pass a lot. Number one, you got to respect him going to the basket. There's a roller. I got to watch the roller. He has the mind to be able to say, I see all of that, but now I see this guy over here. I'm going to get him this open shot. How shifty he is to always be going forward. It's usually side to side. Yeah. His dribble moves are side to side, but going forward. Right. Which is very hard to defend. I just want to get you, as many times can I get you to do this? But for him, it's not here. It is here, which is are his moves to get down the floor. It's awkward for a defender to try to catch a cadence. You dribble. So now what I do is when you go put that ball down, I'm going for it. But with him, it's hard for my cadence. But What's my cadence for you? I don't know what it is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who do you need to step it up? Outside of David Jones, I think David Jones is David Jones.
I don't think you need him to step it up because he's been performing.
Yeah, like he's David Jones. Like outside of him, he's fine.
I think Quinterly needs to play better.
In what way? Like, I mean, he's facilitating the ball well. I mean, what do you, like, I don't.
To a 12 from the field's not cutting it.
It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't need a runner 3 from the top of the key with 3.5 seconds left.
Is Virginia the game where Jordan Brown is going to cook? Those dudes aren't looking to run the ball.
Cook what? Dude, I thought he was going to have a freaking night. He came out with that fresh cut, lined up, and then literally within the first 15 seconds missed a wide open layup. And then picked up 2 fouls right away.
I feel real lied to because I thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy.
Didn't think it did anything for you.
Well, I
think we all thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy. And we are getting that in David Jones.
I'm not even getting 20 or 10 minutes out of the guy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Quick self-promotion, shamelessly. We got to do it. If you are not subscribing over at Bluff City Media, become an insider. Get access to all of our stuff, the Discord, all that stuff, which gets you more access to cool, maybe not cool, smart bet stuff. I mean, you're on there with good, helpful betting tips, I think. There's just cool stuff on there. And if you can't do that, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch all the post-game shows there. They're awesome. They're fun. Check them out. Daniel's there every game, most every game. You can get all these shows. Soccer's back. Got Anthony Sane show, Tigers Untapped, whole 9 yards. Check that out if you're not already an insider. All right, back to the show. They released an update about Desmond's injury. Injury rehab. I don't know what that's not the right word. From a left ankle sprain. Where'd it go? I just had it in front of me and I lost it. 3 weeks. Is that when they're expecting him to return? I believe is what it said.
Well, I think they said reevaluated.
Reevaluated.
Yeah, it's a little different.
With this organization, it's a lot of different. They're reevaluate that term. The word reevaluation, when it comes from this front office, I feel like is just a death sentence, or a season sentence. What do you expect to see Bane? Do you expect to see Marcus? Do you expect to see Brandon Clark back this year?
I think Brandon Clark has to come back. Just for the fact is, as an athlete, when you're putting in that off-season work, coming back from an injury, it is the toughest thing mentally on you as a player, as a person. And that's really your biggest hurdle, because you're having to keep yourself motivated throughout the entire process of just kind of getting back at and dealing with the rehab and pushing yourself through. I think you have to, give a little bit of the tease of the carrot at the end and saying, hey, we can get you in games, whether it is 10 to 15 minutes, here and there. I think you have to somehow get him in the game, no matter at what point, but you have to make sure he's fully cooked, fully good on the injury. You get him in, make him rest a game after, get him in again, maybe rest another game after, and then maybe you can get him his 10, 15 minutes. And then, he feels better about himself, the confidence.
Well, and I mean, honestly, it's a good season to do that because we're not winning. I mean, we're not going anywhere.
Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, let him get out there, let him get his confidence. It's like you said. And that injury in particular, man, and he broke his knot at the free throw line. That's for a player whose entire game hinges on hops.
Yeah.
I'd be a nervous Nelly.
Well, but that's why you're pushing yourself. They're pushing themselves so much harder through these practices, but also just the rehabs. But there's nothing like a game, because you're going to do things hopefully without thinking, which allows you to kind of react. And sometimes those reactions sometimes can be movements that you're not really used to because you're not playing out there. And so those might be a little bit, the fast twitch muscles, as you might know. And those are the ones that maybe not get used as often, or you might not use them, engage them as much as you feel like you should. That's the biggest thing. And that's what BC, I think what you end up doing is these are brand new himself. It's brand new tendons, brand new muscles in there that he's built up.
Oh, you were going to say that. I was like,
you want to kind of break the, you know how you get a package sometimes and you'll get like a TV and it has that little film over top of it and you got to pull the film off.
Yeah.
That lets you like kind of have, yeah. So that's kind of what you're doing is pulling that clear film off of it to say, all right, you're good to go now. We're good. It works. Let's pull the film off. And that's really what you got to do with him. Pull that clear foam off.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Just we're going to pull the clear foam off BC. That's awesome. Everybody gets that.
Hey, on the wording on the Desmond Bain thing, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah. So, what is the wording exactly?
All right. So the wording on him is obviously it explains the injury and everything. The very end, this is what it says about Desmond Bain. He is expected to return to play within the next 3 to 5 weeks. That is different than what we heard about Marcus Smart. He was recently reevaluated, which indicate the injury is healing properly, which is good. He will wear a splint for another 3 weeks, which time he will be reevaluated. Now, the difference is the reevaluated for Marcus Smart, it's a finger, okay? That finger, listen, both of these guys, they don't go right anymore, okay? I did the exact same. Yeah, same thing with both those guys. They didn't heal properly for the most part. They're trying to make sure he has good movement because he's a professional. And if the ball hits wrong, it would come off wrong. Had to train himself to shoot a little bit. Yes, it does matter. And so his is different to make sure that he can get out there, make sure it's strong enough. I'm not worried about that. The tendon's going to be healed properly in his finger. The problem is like, all right, is everything completely healed in that finger so we can release you? Your legs, everything else should be good. You should be ready to play whenever you're officially released to go play. Dez, he's ramping up. This is his ramp up period. This is not reevaluated. This is his ramp up. 3 to 5 weeks. He will be back playing, it says. Desmond Bain.
That's crazy. Yeah, like the very rarely is the front office that just forthright. Like he will return to playing games in this amount of time.
You know why though? If not, Desmond Bain is like, hey, so I was good at practice today. Like, are we good next game? They're like, no, dude, chill. And so they put that on that because you have to chill. Yeah, this is the timeline. We have nothing to win, nothing to play for. You have to completely do this. So this is why expectations, he'll be back in 3 to 5 weeks because they probably feel good about him in 3 weeks, but they also want to give them a little wiggle room with the fans. And that's why you see the 5 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, because they probably, God, can you imagine the uproar that Grizzlies fans would have done if they would have had reevaluated on that? Can you imagine? Like, good gosh.
They would have lost it.
They would have lost it. It would have been funny. The Marcus Smart thing matters, though, because, man, when so much of his game depends on, like, literally, you want to talk about a player that uses every single inch of his body. Like, he needs to get those hands in there for steal. Like, it's important for him. I get, do you think we see him? That reevaluation leads me to believe we may not even see him the rest of the season.
Oh, we'll see.
You think we will?
We'll see all these guys. I think we'll see all these guys in March. Listen, I predicted that.
You said into March?
In March. We have, 4 weeks is the end of March. 5 is probably the very, very end of March. I think we see every single one of these guys in March. Now, the only thing that worries me is the BC stuff. We haven't heard a legit like PR break. But man, I just think that they're going to somehow upgrade him randomly. I don't think that you need to reevaluate him. Everybody knows that the videos are out there of him dunking.
That's what I was going to say.
You upgrade him to doubtful one random game. That is what the front office should do. You know why? Because we always get these Grizzlies PR stuff and everybody gets pissed off. We always get the injury reports and everybody gets pissed off. Imagine opening the Grizzlies PR one day and you go, oh, we got a BC doubtful.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's a chance.
So yes, man. I would be awesome to see these guys and like, man, like come back from spring break like we as young men will do spring break in it. not with the children, but us. Oh God, we're old. But yeah, that'd be nice. Like post spring break, just have the gang back together, like minus Ja. That'd be great. Like get a couple weeks of what this rotation would look like, minus Ja, minus a center, and just see what they got. It'd be dope. I like it too. We're gonna take one last break. When we get back, we're gonna introduce a new segment. It's gonna be really cool. So you're gonna want to tune in. Do
the quick one of you, the Vince Williams.
Oh yeah,
I want to see that one.
Done. Yeah. All right. And we're gonna try a couple new things. So after this quick break.
Yeah. Vince Williams is the closest thing we've seen to Tony Allen.
100%.
Tony Allen. I think that has been really thrown around very loosely in a kind of just joking manner for a lot of people, because everybody for the love that we have for TA, such a big factor in this franchise. We throw that thing around. We throw that the grandson thing around lightly because it's kind of funny on Twitter, but he is the closest thing to Tony Allen that has been so far in a Memphis uniform. And I think that's D'Anthony Melton might have been the other, but to your point, that's what made me think about this, is that the fearlessness that he plays with, that's what Tony Allen played with. He did not care who you were. He doesn't see a name on that.
Man, I love that. That was a preview of one of our earlier shows. I love that they just pair me with people. This isn't a shot at you. My hair is immaculate, and they just put me next to people who either have to wear hats or don't have much hair. And I don't know if that's on purpose, but it does a lot for my self-confidence.
All right, I'm taking my hat off.
No, don't do it. No, man. Hey, damn it. See, you have hair. You're not like Mark. You have hair.
I have hair.
Now you just ruined my bit. You ruined my bit.
Nope. I'm taking my hat off now.
All right. So, taking the hat off. So we're going to do, I'm going to hit you up with this is a new segment I'm working on. And well, before we get to this, that we were talking about Tony Allen.
Yep.
Tony Allen and Vince Williams. I think Vince Williams stands at a better shot of being a much better shooter than Tony Allen. Tony Allen was not known for his shooting.
Right. No, he, weirdly enough, he kind of was not especially known, but he could shoot pretty well when he was at OK State.
Yes, which is weird. Like and we need shooters bad. I've got a piece coming out about Yuta Watanabe about how was one of the best shooters in the league a couple years ago. Don't make that face. And God,
just save your time.
It's called spoiler alert. It's called I Love Yuta Watanabe, and so can you. That's the name of it. So everybody,
put that out in Japanese. Don't put it in English, and make everybody Google it.
Done. Oh, that's funny. Done. What like you? So you before the show we were talking about worst shooters. Yep. You got something for me. Like we've got one of the best shooters in the league on the team in Yuta Watanabe. And Luke Kennard. Well, like what do you got for me?
So there is just recently came out with somebody put a post out talking about the worst shooters in the league this season. And so it was under 40% shooting, right? Just overall shooting in that game. They would have to be under 40% shooting with a minimum of 10 field goal attempts in that game, so you have to miss 10 total shots under 40% in a game. And these are multiple games, multiple guys. Like it's been a lot. Who do you think is the worst shooter in the league right now?
Dylan Brooks.
Wow. Weirdly enough, he's number 2nd.
Damn it. Oh, I was like, oh baby. It's not Yuta Watanabe, is it?
No, it's not Yuta. There's no Grizzlies on here. I thought that's why it would be interesting to talk about.
Oh, wow. So, worst shooter in the league.
If you had to think.
Let me think. Trae Young?
No, he's not He's not in the top 13. Not in top 13.
Okay.
One team has 4 of the top 7 worst true like shooting percentages.
Is it Detroit?
No, they only have 1. Jay Nivey.
I was gonna say Jay Nivey. So what's the team? Tell me the team.
Houston.
Okay, so Jalen Green.
Jalen Green is number 1.
Yeah.
He's had 40, like I don't have it in front of me. I lost it. Like 46 games this season where he shot under 40% and had 10 plus field goal attempts.
Man,
it is crazy how bad they are. And everybody was up in arms about losing Dillon Brooks. Everybody was saying that obviously he's played so well. He rears his head again. I promise you, he is not a good shooter for this team, for that team. Houston is completely turned around. They're not good, but they have four of the worst, right? And that is Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr., who's another young guy they love, but also Fred VanVleet. Like
really,
that just goes to show you, man, these guys just, I don't know. It was a moment in the season where they played good and they were playing good and everybody ends up raising because they're playing good. All it takes is a couple bad games and you're back to normal. So, yeah.
Is there anything more Dillon Brooksy than going from leading the league in 3-point percentage at one point to this?
Listen, I knew it was smoke and mirrors.
Guaranteed. Smoke and mirrors. I mean, this kind of like, speaking of the villain, this is going to introduce us to a new segment that I'm trying because, you know, what in a world, everybody has weekends, and on weekends, people do things. So this is a new segment called Weekend Happenings. I'm working on the voice, but that's something I'm workshopping. Weekend Happenings. And this is just not Grizzlies related. I want to talk about what cool stuff that you're in Memphis, I'm in Nashville. It's like cool stuff that we're doing this weekend. Like, I'll go first. Tonight, I'm going to a show at the Ryman Auditorium. I've never been there before. And if I've lived in Nashville for a long time, I've heard it's like a really cool thing to do. It's like a church. I'm bringing a cushion because I've heard it's church pews and I'm old. I ain't playing that game. And I'm pretty excited. I'm going to see, they're called Sammy Ray and Friends. I've only heard a couple songs. It's kind of like a surprise thing, but I'm going with my lady and it's going to be fun. I'm going to buy a sticker probably and a pretzel.
A sticker. Listen, speaking of that, I believe my kid's teacher is going to that tonight as well. I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe I heard that name. What's the name of the band again?
Sammy Ray and Friends.
Sammy Ray. I'm almost certain that's exactly who it was.
I'm going to bring a sign that says, I know Daniel Greer, the father of two of your students, on like a poster board. And it's just going to, and not have it facing the band, just be turning around. Just,
you know what? I'm wrong. I'm
making the sign anyway.
The Billy Strings on Saturday.
Billy Strings is fantastic.
Okay, that's what they're going to see. It's Billy Strings. I have no idea about Billy Strings.
Man, shout out Billy Strings. Give him a listen. He's good.
What kind of music?
He's a prodigy, like a guitar, folk guitar, Americana prodigy. Dude is that's
why don't we do this when you play guitar?
I look like a bobblehead when I play banjo. But I'm going to see them, and then tomorrow is Belmont Homecoming. So I'm going to go to Belmont Homecoming, maybe. I'm Belmont basketball. Belmont Till I Die was the thing where I don't know. They're not good this year. They're really not good.
I bet on them in the past years, not this year.
No. What about you? What are you doing?
Man, it's kids. So tonight is absolutely nothing. It's our closest friend, closest friend couple, whatever. It's her birthday actually today. I don't believe we're doing anything.
Happy birthday. You're listening.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Courtney. But we're doing Saturday is busy. It's Saturdays changing over sports. I talked about last time.
Oh yeah.
We have T-ball first thing in the morning. And then literally I have to run from there over and coach our girls' basketball game. And so it's our last game of the year. And so it'll be a good time. And so it'll be those girls have been amazing.
What time's the game?
10 o'clock. So we have a T-ball at 9.
I'll be there.
We have basketball at 10. And then we have birthday parties in the afternoon. And then my wife's going out with the girls for Courtney's birthday at night. And so literally it's just Saturdays are nuts.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yes. And then Sunday you're like, all right, what is happening? And so then you're back
NASCAR.
to work Monday.
NASCAR.
You watch a bunch of left turns.
Yeah, I was gonna say nap. It's a good nap. You put it on the background, you just take a nap.
Yeah, unless you have kids.
Unless you have kids,
listen, let me share this.
Yeah, sure.
We had our kids banquet, our what I always call pizza party in the year. Always whatever sports we have. Usually we do water balloons, but if we're
Ooh.
outside, can't with basketball because water balloons they're actually good, But in t-ball, we always end the year with surprising them with coaches versus kids water balloon fight, which is always fun. But so I got some cards, but this is my favorite that I got. This is from one of our players. Says you're the best coach in the world, and you just kind of made like that, right? And then if you open it, this is her drawing. This is a first grader, and it says,
"Oh, cool!
So glad you're my basketball coach. I always want you to be my coach." And then drew the basketball here, but over here was the funniest thing, and I had to share this. It says no bunny hops. It's a basketball. It's her shooting. And the reason I say that is because she's an amazing athlete. Her brother is a phenom when it comes to sports in general. She is just as good as a girl. But the funny thing is that she wrote no bunny hops. And I laughed so hard because I was teaching her that the whole year. Right. And sometimes you think kids get it. Sometimes you don't. But she would always just catch and just do a little bunny hop and then shoot because it's like a tick, like it's a rhythm thing. You got to get into a rhythm, just like you would spin the ball for shooting a free throw. She gets the ball, little bunny hop, left-handed, knockdown shot, bang, like every single time. I was like, we got to remove that bunny hop. And so we kept working on it. That way she'd be quicker because, that way you got to release quick. Yeah. Yes. So when she wrote that, I thought that was the funniest, most awesomest, sweetest thing. So shout out to her.
Shout out to her because that's going to be the title of this episode when I drop it today. It's going to be called No Bunny Hop. No Bunny Hops. Was that the full thing?
No Bunny Hops.
No Bunny Hops. That's the title of the episode. Tell her that's the cutest thing I've seen too. Shout out to her.
It was awesome.
That's going to do, man, we're in it on that. That's going to do it for the episode. Y'all enjoy your weekend and do cool weekend things and weekend happenings. We will be back Monday when we're going to be introducing a new segment as well. And I'm looking forward to this because you know what Mondays are for, Daniel? Little teaser.
I know what they're for.
You know what they're for, but everyone else will find out when we return on Monday. Have a good weekend, y'all. You better be hungry. Bring your appetites Monday afternoon. See y'all.